It's a relief to finally be working on something other than AI and cargo defense again. And there were a lot of options to work on next, but I've decided to focus on UI for now because that's sort of the gateway to the rest of the gameplay features. But before I go into UI in depth, I want to re-emphasize that all of the art in this game is still placeholder. I've contracted a 3D artist for ships and space stations, but I don't have anything to show from him yet. And the other artist who was going to be doing crew models and some other things, I can't get in contact with anymore, so I'll either be looking for another 3D artist, or I might do what some comments requested and stick with a hybrid of 3D and 2D sprites. I might put up a poll soon to see if that's what a majority want, or if people would rather see it full 3D. So now I'd like to walk through some of my UI progress and explain some of my design decisions, but this is an area where I especially want your feedback, because I want to make this as user-friendly as possible, and I'm sure some of you will have ideas that I didn't think of. Let's start with the UI that's available in transit. The crew list here lets you switch between your crew, or right-click to view more details. Here we've got stats, this is where the perks will be, and the inventory section at the bottom I'm still thinking about. Instead of having 2 rows here and hovering over to have text appear on the right, I might use tooltips and just a single row along the bottom. You can also toggle that pane with the crew details button. Now as soon as we arrive in a station, this new bar appears, and this sort of scrolling ticker text is going to be where I place the news. Rather than having TV displays, I think this will be a little bit easier both to read and for me to add content. And I'll probably have an option to click this and just pop up a pane where the entire text is shown without the scrolling. Also, before I forget, you can actually rename your crew here. And it'll automatically truncate with an ellipsis as necessary. Now, one area I've tried to improve over the prototype is to, instead of having layers of modal dialogues, everything can kind of be visible at the same time. This map is very unfinished in placeholder, but here I've got mock-ups of a couple of the tabs for the space station features. For crew management, it's basically 2 tables, and I plan on letting you sort by any of these columns, and placing links on the right for actions like dismiss or hire. And then for placing things on your ship, I've tried to keep this a smaller panel so that you can see more of your ship to be able to click where you want to place things. And once again, I'm reconsidering whether to have a section of text that appears when you hover over things or to just use tooltip text. And you can close whichever tab is open with this X. Now there are a few tabs I have not mocked up yet, as well as this objectives list, because I plan on letting you take multiple jobs at once, and this would be a way to track everything that's currently outstanding. The menu is also not ready yet. One thing I'm still trying to figure out for the shop section is how you decide where to place things that you buy. Whether you'll just drag and drop them directly into crew inventory or onto the floor, or if you're going to have a separate screen for that. I don't know yet. There's also some space here I haven't figured out yet. I think I might use it for the objective with the nearest deadline. A lot of the sizes of things in this UI are actually just because I wanted to make things line up consistently and space things out nicely, not because I actually need that much space, but I can easily find things to put there. And I think unless somebody can give me a better reason to do it differently, it's worth it for the aesthetic value. That's all for this week. Next week I plan on starting the weekly builds for my Patreon supporters again, and I'm sorry it's been so long. But in the meantime, it always helps if you hit the like button, spread the word, and subscribe if you haven't already, and of course, thanks for watching.